and his philosophies. Just to everybody else. Who is part of the everybody else? Hebrew Israelites. Because what we believe is counter to what the government teaches and its ideologies and its philosophies. Just like in Rome, if you taught anything contrary to Rome's ideologies and philosophies, or Caesar especially, or Kaiser, right, they're gonna come and take you. That's why our people said something like, "When the only king we have is Caesar." That's where that ideology came from, because Rome was saying that. But let's start into this. Let's go watch this real quick.
Okay, first of all, see, here's where the brothers go off at. They seem to believe that we are still subject to Rome. We are not subject to Rome. Why? Because the Most High freed us from slavery. When you come back to keeping the laws and the commandments of the Most High God, you are freed from the curse of slavery, from the jurisdiction of the Edomites. We got to get that in our mind. We are not under their jurisdiction. You say, well, I know a lot of people saying, well, how could that be so? Why would you even say that, brother? You're going to get somebody hurt. No. The Most High set up government, his government. He restored his government to the people who have come back to the laws and commandment of God. He has set us up above. We already set above the other nations. We already set above the other nations. That's his will, that we be above the other nations. Why? Because we are the carriers of his laws. That's the reason why. We are the blessings to the other nations. We are to teach them the proper way to live and the righteous way to live on the earth. Why would he keep us beneath them and their laws and their jurisdiction when his goal is to set us up on top of them and on a pedestal so all the world could look up at us and Christ. Christ is set there. Christ set in place to establish the laws back on the earth. Did you hear what I said? The Most High God set Christ down here to establish his word back on the earth. Because why? We didn't know him. We didn't know him. We didn't know the Most High. We have been in years and years of slavery. Then we've been asleep for 400 years. We don't know him. So when he woke us up, that lets you know that he's establishing his kingdom back on the earth again. You got to have the Holy Spirit living in you, rightly dividing this word in you to get you to see this. I know everybody ain't going to see it. The Christians see it, but they don't see the Most High totally. But they can see we've been free from the law of sin and death. We've been free. We're not under captivity with these people. They can see a glimpse of it, right? They can see it, but what they do have a scotoma for is the danger that they are not keeping the law, so they are still under. They are not keeping the laws of the Most High God, so they're still under the jurisdiction of the hammer, Satan, the hammer. Whenever when you turn your ear from hearing the laws of God, you abide in the you abide. It means you living in the congregation of the dead. You still dead to Christ, to God. You have not repented yet. That's what Christ said. He called them evildoers. Depart from me, you evildoers. I never knew you. You thought you was working for me, but you was really in the congregation of the dead, and you never transformed back to the kingdom of light. See, and that's where the Israelites, when they keep promoting this man's kingdom as being the law of the land and the will of God, they're doing exactly what the devil wants them to do, and they're not being transferred back into their proper persona on the earth. Right? Because if you look at Acts, what's that, 3 and 15, where it talks about Christ is going to remain in heaven in his place until all things be restored. The main thing that needs to be restored first is our consciousness to our position on the earth. And if we don't, then we can't do the rest of it. We can't gather up. We can't gather people up. Because you can't gather a kingdom up in the midst of another wicked kingdom that's forcing their jurisdiction on you because they got you divided and conquered. Divided, hear what I said, divided and conquered. You first have to come back together, the leaders of the obedient class, which would be the Israelites and the camps. I love this brother here, so I'm not talking down on him at all, or any of the Israelites. But this is something that's yet to be revealed to them. Because why? Whenever you're on the front line teaching hard like they teach and waking people up, it's a fear that comes with that. Because you know they coming for you first. Them devils are coming at you. You make yourself a target when you turn from sin. When you turn to righteousness and turn from sin, you know you got a target on your back. That's why they in fear like that. But we got to stand around and encourage them that we are with them and that the Most High is with them. And so that's why when we separate from them, it comes with the responsibility to reject their authority because they are tyrants on the earth. So the responsibility to reject them and not bow down and let them walk over us, make ourselves a floor mat to them, meaning we have to declare that we are not a part of they already know it. We don't have to really, we have to declare for them to know that we are on one accord and the Most High's name is working again and is back in the earth. So they can put some respect on his name. You think when we do that, he gonna let them, well, I told y'all was slaves, and shut up and let Esau rule over you. No, hell no. When we stand up and say we standing up and making y'all know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, that he gonna stand up and then he turn that heat up. It's 250 years they've been tricking us to thinking to surrender and tricking us to surrendering our freedom to them. Kanye West said it. We agree to being slaves. We agree to it. When we don't, God has put it out for people to see. It's plain as day. When you look at them and see the weakness of this frail man, this frail government, when God allow you to see the weakness of them, and you're only going to see the weakness of the devil when you see the strength of the Lord. And see, you can say, oh, I got the law, but you still don't see the strength of God when you're teaching the message like he's teaching it, that Esau is stronger than God, that God whoop us until, we just beat to a pulp. God said he don't chastise us like that. Yahawah said he does not chastise us just because he's mad at us. He chastised you to repentance. And once you repent, then he puts you back where you're supposed to be again. Once you come out of the pig pen, come back to your father, then he going to raise you back up, put a ring on your finger, clean you up, and put you right back in your position again. That's what the parable of the prodigal son is about. So we're going to listen to this and going to point out some things. Won't be before you long. But every opportunity I can, I use the men who is teaching this. I try to use them as poster boys, not as a rebuke, but a teaching moment to show them who the Most High is and to encourage them to stop teaching this fear. This is fear. This is the same thing the spies did when they came out of the land of Canaan. When they saw those giants, they came out saying, they too big for us. You saying they too big for the Most High God. Well, he put us in slavery. He let us out. And if you would really search, the Most High's laws are the law of the land. They are the laws of the land. This is tyrant. This is tyrants. The rest of the nations that used to be their allies and the rest of the world is letting you know and showing you that these people are tyrants against God. They are tyrants against the Most High God. And you ain't got to worry about the Most High doing nothing to you for calling them a tyrant. Anything, he gonna turn the heat up on their behinds. And that's what's gonna happen. He's not gonna let them put you back in slavery. I know the curses keep returning, but that's on the people that are in disobedience, not to us. Not to us. That in a repentant state of mind, constantly repenting, constantly uh, staying on point when it means uh, living a repentant life. In other words, you have stopped sinning. You have stopped sinning. Ain't no talking about no willful. Yeah, every sin is a willful sin, unless somebody sneaks some pork or something in your food and stuff. Even then, you might be sitting in a family meeting, and somebody sneak a little ham hock fat on in your greens or your green beans, and you pick it up and eat it. Didn't see it. You seen it, but you like, that thing hit you. You've been clean from pork so long, this little bit ain't gonna hit. I just want to taste it. That ain't willful. That's willful right there. But it was an accident. It caught you at a weak moment. You should have got up and threw the plate down on the floor. I told you I don't eat pork. No, I ain't saying do that. But it's some things, man. We get weak. David got weak when he saw Bathsheba out there taking a bath. She knew she wasn't supposed to be bathing in front of the king's window. Solomon got weak. We get weak, man, when we've been clean. That's what the Most High said. He said his fear is that when he deliver us into the land of abundance, when we got everything, we've been clean, living right, ain't eating no pork, ain't doing nothing wrong for so long, then we'll forget. We'll forget what it was, the struggle of coming out of sin. The struggle that we had to quit eating the wrong foods, to stop smoking drugs and taking pills and drinking alcohol to the point you're an alcoholic now. You got to have a drink to minister. Y'all know who I'm talking about, and they know. Yeah, you sexual sins and all kind of stuff, and hurting your brothers and sisters, and y'all doing everything to each other, acting like straight doggish heathens out here now. Deleting each other in every neighborhood. You got a gang, a different gang, and every 2 blocks is a different gang, territories and stuff. All this mess. It's a mess out here. But it's the people who are keeping the laws are not a part of this kingdom, and you're not subject to their laws. And they know it. You don't know it, and they know you scared of them. When you teach that, look what they gonna do to us, and anybody that commits sedition, that go against their kingdom, the Most High going against their kingdom. Every day you stand out there and teach that you have allegiance with another nation, you are against their kingdom. Not only that, the Most High set laws out here to separate us from their kingdom. That's what I was looking for right there. The Most High got the rights of indigenous people. He has the Treaty of Morocco, the Peace and Friendship Treaty, which separates us from their jurisdiction and their rulership. You have the Dred Scott Conclusion, where they said you cannot be a part of their kingdom because you are black. And you know what that really means? That you were sovereign. You were here when we got here. So we can't force you into our nation like that. We can't say you're a part of us. Because you ain't an Edomite. We know, it go a little deeper. You're an Israelite. We know who you are. Them demons, we know who told Jesus, Yahawah, we know who you are. Thy son of David. Son of God. We said one of them, son of David, son of God. Both the same thing. Son of David. We know who you are. We command you back out here. The demons commanding God back, commanding Jesus by Yahawah, commanding Yahawah by Yahawah that you torment us not. We command you by God that you torment us not. Them demons was crying. That's what they doing now. We command you by God, our Christian God, that you don't take your identity back and start living like the Most High said, above the nations. You above the nations because they are tyrants, and God set up laws to separate you in this kingdom. You don't have to stand up, we're going to fight, we're going to get y'all. No, just stand on the laws that's already been codified. The Peace and Friendship Treaty separates us from them. All the 4,000 treaties separate us from them. The rights of indigenous people, we know that's us. Y'all, although y'all keep giving it to them Oriental mixed people, we got a bunch of, they believe in mix. They brown, they slanted eyes, they got straight black hair, they got the bent nose like the Hollywood Indian, like the Spaniards. They all mixed up. And y'all know this was their land. They was here first. So you mean to tell me they broke 4,000 treaties with just 3 tribes? They made over and over again. The Indians kept falling for the treaties. We ceasefire. We gonna put our guns down. Ceasefire. We putting our guns down. We gonna keep watching the videos. I got a couple points. We put our guns down. Y'all put y'all guns down. So you think the Indians fell for that 4,000 times? The 3 tribes? They fell for that? No, it was over 500 active tribes in this land. The northern kingdom of Israel was in this land. Why would they go down in them shithole countries, Why would they go down in those countries where they don't want to be right now? Ain't nothing down there. How you gonna say that they was there, that they left America where it's over 6 million people, 600 million people here, and you still have to travel a long way to go into another city? So it wasn't crowded with the 10 tribes here. They didn't have no reason to go down in Central and the Caribbean, Central, South America and the Caribbeans. They didn't have no reason to go down there. They had everything they needed here. If you went to Hispaniola and Columbus, when he got there, it might have been a few of them there, a few people there, but he said it was so many different fruit trees and vegetables that, man, he said that was a place for gods. And North America was worse than that. I remember when I was a child, you could look through everybody's backyard and see a different fruit tree, 2 or 3, grapes and peaches and apples and all kind of vegetables just in your neighbor's yard and your yard and your neighbor's on the other side, and across the alley it was all kind of trees, apple trees. You could go up and down the alley and be full. The low-hanging fruit. So they didn't have no reason to go down there. They took our Northern Kingdom brothers that you see down there now. They took them from here and forced them to go down there and they forced them to go down there and help them build an empire. They didn't need many. That's why I'm telling you they wasn't already down there. They had been here 3,000 years before Columbus and them got here. And listen to this. They had been here 3,000 years, generating maybe 3 million people every 20 years. You count that up. That's over 600 or 700 million people Northern Kingdom had blossomed to. And to show you another how math and time work, when they got here and they started on the East Coast, up northeast, it took them 300 years to move over 300 years to move over in Ohio and Indiana. That was all Indian territory. The Northern Kingdom had the whole land covered. I mean, the 3 tribes had all of that covered. They held all that territory down from them. No, it was over 500 tribes. I got the book, I got the records, we got the dictionaries, we got the explorers' accounts. We are still here. Some of the Northern Kingdom was still here. It was over 250,000 families. 250,000 families, man. When in 1865, when slavery was abolished, it was 260,000 families coming off those reservations saying, They coming in on our reservations, taking our land. I thought we had a treaty. The dolls uh censor sent sent out people, and they forced the Indians to be called Negro. How they gonna make a white Indian Negro? Cause we was black. The Northern Kingdom was black. Yeah, we know the cake's unturned. We all different colors, but don't take it out of context. It didn't mean everybody. They had been over 3,000 years. When did they turn all white? When did all 600 million people turn white? That's crazy. See, the problem is we had these unlearned men who barely can do math and think right, never took any college English courses where they can understand. In order to decipher communications and languages, you have to use tone. So they don't use tone. They totally don't use tone, and they don't believe the Holy Spirit is in you, rightly dividing your thoughts and what you have read. So that's going to put them at a disadvantage. I don't care how smart they sound, understanding vocabulary words, they don't understand the etymology, and they still making up definitions to exclude the etymology of the themes of the Most High God in this Bible. So, yeah, let's keep watching, but that's the first thing we got to do is realize that the Most High woke us up with laws that would separate us from this wicked tyrant regime. The whole thing, Democrat and Republicans. And religion. Separate us from their democratic republic system, their policies for their nation. And the treaty of the Constitution was their swearing allegiance and shaking hands with us, saying that they wouldn't try to rule over us. Why was that important? Because they had deplenished us in slavery. They took our ability to read. They took our ability. They know we didn't understand what being free was. You know, after slavery and Jim Crow era, and forcing us and forcing us by gunpoint to be Negroes. All of us be Negroes, to give up our heritage by gunpoint. That was in 1865. Before then, you watch the Hollywood movies, the Hollywood shows about the cowboys and Indians. Everybody knew what free was. Blacks and white. They knew what free was. They knew what their own territories meant. You see it. You see them acting it out. These is the Indian territories over here. You can't go over there. They know what free was. You see how hard it was for them to take some of them movies and shows what the Indians did. They was fighting back, right? Indian wars. You can look that up. They were fighting back. So, yeah. The Most High had to break our bows. He had to break our weapons. How did he do that? They captured our women and children and had us surrendered. And then when they stopped fighting each other, the French, the English, the British, the Polish, the Spanish, then they started taking the people on the reservations captive and taking them down on those plantations along with Judah. Start taking them down, the Northern Kingdom along with Judah, down on those plantations, because they sold our babies. They sold the black babies and left the mulatto babies here, right? They left their bastard children here in the ghetto with us on the plantation and on the reservation, but they took certain ones down there. They didn't take so many that they couldn't control. If they had took that whole Northern Kingdom who had been generating offspring, if the Northern Kingdom who had been generating offspring for 3,000 years, it would have been 600 million of them down there. And ain't no way those few little French, Dutch, Orientals, and Spanish could have conquered those islands, man. Hell, it was 30,000 of them went up in the mountains and held the Dutch up for years, months. They had to make another treaty and say we won't fight y'all anymore. We won't commit war against y'all anymore. And we'll marry. We'll be your friends and family. Before that, 30,000, they whooped their butt for years over there, the Germans, over there in one of those islands under Brazil. And so where the Germans are right now. It might be in Brazil, down at the bottom. I had to look it up. But anyway, they come out the mountains and start living what they call a normal life. But the Germans still stayed in government. That's how you know who the Esau's bastard children is, because they are in government in all these lands where the Northern Kingdom is held captive. We're held captive, but because we are not keeping the laws of the Most High God. So we're gonna listen to this, and I made most of my points, so we're just gonna listen to it, and I'm just gonna briefly conclude.
Some extremely lengthy sentences were handed down in a court in Texas for some anti-ICE protesters. Let's put the New York Times article up on the screen that breaks down some of the details here. Protesters accused of Antifa ties sentenced to up to 100 years in ICE attack. The subhead says the penalties issued in an attack where a police officer was shot dwarfed those given to January 6 rioters, appeared to signal at least some courts will deal aggressively with ICE protesters. Let me just read a little bit here so you can get the details. The leader of a group of protesters accused of being members of Antifa was sentenced on Tuesday to 100 years in prison after a jury found him and 7 other demonstrators guilty of supporting terrorism while taking part in an armed assault last summer against an immigration facility in Alvarado, Texas.
So they're trying to say it's an armed assault, and that's not exactly what happened, but that's what they did. We're in Texas. Everybody has the pew pew on them. Like this. It just
see, we meddling. He's meddling just for views, right? Trying to get. He think he reporting news, but he's meddling, and he's causing problems. He's turning us down a rabbit hole, and he's leading us away from the truth. And I like the brother, but he's into views, right? Just be honest, he's into views, and he's leading us away from the truth. Now, the truth is that this up to 100 years on an ICE attack is a fear tactic, right? Because if they really wanted us deleted and mashed down, which they do, if they wanted us back under their feet, they would just come out and do it. Like they did when they first got here. They conquered where they were standing. And that's what they're doing now. Look at the Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get that real quick, because I know y'all know it. Let's get it. Hey, with Donald Trump, the devil know his time was coming to an end, right? So verse 9, this is what they were going for when they elected Donald Trump. Let none of us go without his part of voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. Make America great again. For this is our portion and our lot. Our portion, our lot, his part. None of us go without his part. That's what they were doing when they brought the brown and the white Latinos and the Native American, when they set them all up to rule, right, to get their portion. They was giving them their portion. Why? Because they left them in the ghetto with us. And they needed shields now. They need the shields because they knew their time was up. And they knew that it was going to come a time when we were going to wake up and demand our positions back. It's happening now, But it scared them with the Israelites waking up and teaching who we were. They knew it was a matter of time. So Joe Biden rushed them in. Shields and pawns, and put them out front to stand as the first defense against us. Because they thought we was coming with violence. They thought we was coming with violence. Because they really don't know us. They didn't know us to be a godly people and wait on God, And they didn't know, they knew we were afraid and full of fear, But they thought, hey, we done did these people so bad. The fear jumped on them, so they brought their shields in first, right? And so they told their shields, hey, we know we left y'all in the ghetto. This was the message, because the shields knew they was part of Esau's kingdom. They said, we're going to give y'all a chance to enjoy the American dream, voluptuousness. You didn't get your part being down there. I know you was on them islands in the ghettos with our enemies, with your enemies. We know who you are. Let us leave tokens. Now, look, somebody went into that token thing deep. It's deep. Them tokens is deep. Because those tokens is deep, man. Those tokens is deep, man. That means bring you up to a level to your legacy. Yeah, that's what it was, your legacy. Tokens is we get into your legacy too, of our joyfulness, of how great America was when we had these people, when we had robbed them of everything they had, when we had total control of them. So let's put them back where our ancestors had them, and they are our tokens of a great place, of us coming here conquering them. This is our portion, for this is our portion. The devil, like the devil told Jesus, Yahawah at the tomb, we know who you are, thy son of David. We command you by God, you torment us not. He's tormenting us not. How could they be sure that they had a legal claim with God? Because they knew Christ was not coming to set up his kingdom, so he couldn't come and rebuke them and stop them and set the Israelites back in charge of the nations of the earth. So they said, we command you. They knew they had a standing, and they knew they had status to command that claim. God, you know it ain't your time to come back. We know what you're here for. You're here to die. And so they knew. So that's what this is our portion mean too. It's the same thing. They're making the same claim. This is it. We Esau's descendants. We supposed to be ruling by the sword. You can't get mad at us because we just carried out our blessing, which was a curse, which they had to do evil and be the border of wickedness to even have standing. They do have standing over people who are not keeping the laws of the Most High God. This is our lot. Yeah, but your lot is over. It's over. You got to honor the fact that the Most High people are waking up and they're claiming their inheritance back. They made a claim to God, and he's going to make you release their portion, right? Okay. Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray of hair, age, gray hair of age. And then look at verse 11. This is what we was getting back to. This is what we getting to right here. Let our strength. They said, so, and the question was, how are we going to do this? They didn't ask, well, how are we going to do this? So they just came out. Solomon is telling you what they were thinking, because they knew they were weaker than us. It's in the prophecy. Plus, we have God's chosen people. We the gods on the earth. They knew we were exalted over them because they couldn't win those Indian wars. It took them 300 years to set up government here, 1492 to 1779. You do when George Washington became first president. They was here 300 years. Little dots on the East Coast. They was like little dots. They didn't take Ohio until after 1780, and then that was just on the map. 1779. That was just on the map. They were still fighting. The Northern Kingdom still was holding down Ohio, Indiana, some parts of Kentucky. I think they had come under the bend going around under Florida. They had Florida. They had that coast. But coming back toward Georgia and Louisiana, that was a stronghold for them, for the Northern Kingdom. For 300 years, while they was here, sitting in the land, being colonizers. Stealing, everybody that came in, They was gathering up slaves to go build an empire down south. In the hot lands, the sugar, remember sugar, coffee, tobacco, tea, right? Conquering the land, setting up, you know, slave quarters and, doing their thing. So their strength, let our strength be the law of justice. That's their strength. They make laws and they continue to, that's the crafty counsel. They continue after they dociled us, destroyed us. Now they said, this is the last part right here. This is all we got. This is our only stronghold, is to make them think that God ordained us after he delivered them from slavery, from our hands. The only way we gonna keep them there is convince them that they not released, right? Once the court, you go in, you get a bond, or you counted not guilty in their courts, and then you got to sit there until they release you. That's what's happening now, and they never gonna release you. Job said they released none. They released none from their dungeons. They ain't gonna release you. They gonna keep on. You gotta release yourself. You got to release yourself. You got to stand up and walk out of the damn prison, which is their jurisdiction over you. How do you do that? You call your lawyer, and when you gather together, your lawyer is the Most High God. And then he gonna ask you, what did you say? I didn't know what to say. Did you say I'm free? God gave me dominion over the world, over my world, and I have unalienable rights, and I have God-given right. He says I'm free. He who the Lord has freed is free indeed. When he freed us, and we came back to our mind, bethink yourself, ask the elders. The elders said, well, we're free. God gave us dominion over the world. He gave every man dominion. He created every man equal, meaning no man can dictate his will for your life, because you're free. And if you don't stand up and walk in your freedom, then something is wrong with you. How you walk in them? You ain't gonna go to no knife fight. You ain't gonna go to no gunfight with a knife. You want me to tell you what to do? Don't go to the gunfight. Don't go to the gunfight. Let the Lord go to the gunfight. Did he turn the heat up on them this 250 years they bragging about? And they out there having heat strokes and everything. Everything happening to them, that he turned that heat up on them. He let him do it. He gonna weaken them down to where they gonna say, y'all are the sons of God. God is standing up fighting for y'all. We better leave y'all alone. They're gonna have compassion because they know the Most High is standing there watching. I wish you would touch him. Touch him again. Touch my child again. Wouldn't you see out there heathen out there, and then you gonna stand up and let them beat your children? Another parent grab your child and shake them. What you gonna do? You gonna go to Nuck Festival on them. And that's what the Most High said. He said, when in these last days, when I'm freeing y'all so y'all can gather up and come back to me, because they ain't gonna let you, they gonna stand in the way and block you. Talking about the laws of justice. This is justice here. We ain't even under their laws. That's their laws for their people. That's why they did it. That's why they broadcast it to you. We're going to go back to it. Let us not spare the widow nor... Let's say, okay, verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble, hear what he said? They'll believe it because they feeble-minded. We got them feeble-minded because they don't even know who they are. They don't even know they got a God to fight for them. They don't know we the devils. They don't know we their enemies. They think we are religious politicians. This is have their best interests at heart. They think we have the right by God. We have power by God to hold them under our jurisdiction. That's what they think. That's what they think. They are feeble-minded. Right? They are feeble-minded. It's found to be worth nothing. I mean, they don't have no, they don't have no ability to stand up for themselves. They don't have, they ain't worth nothing. That means they don't have no power. They don't have no mind. You can't. They are no match for us because we can tell them whatever we want to tell them, and it ain't. They ain't worth us worried about them. Worried about what they gonna do to us. They are no count, no match. We ain't got nothing to worry about. They feeble-minded. Let's get back here. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even turn this on, man. So, again, let me listen to this.
And was given a term of 30 years in prison. A final defendant is scheduled to be sentenced next month.
Look, if I'm not final defendant, I'm like, look, you might as well go ahead and kiss your family goodbye because they about to throw the book at your ass. We thought it was just Carmelo. Nah, they're throwing the book at anybody who's on the left. That's what they're doing. That is what they doing. This is crazy.
I can't watch it no more. That brother is really in his child state of mind, right? So the Bible said when we understand the truth, when we become adults and men, when we become adults, we got to think as an adult, as a man. We have to trust the Most High because we know that this is only a fear tactic. They know that we think that we are their citizens. We have people teaching, like he's teaching, that their judgment and their sentence says that they give God's people will stick. Not for the people who's keeping the Most High's laws. He don't chastise us because he's mad at us. He's not going to chastise people who can turn back to the law with the hammer and the sword. He's not going to chastise you. Not when he told to us we are to establish the laws in the last days to the point to where our people will feel safe and comfortable to come back to the Most High and start keeping the laws. They're not going to keep the laws of the Most High God. See, y'all stopping a lot of people from coming in teaching that the Esau still got the sword over the people that come back to God. Maybe y'all ain't keeping the laws and the best you can. The reason why you feeling like you ain't safe, that the Most High ain't gonna protect you. Maybe y'all ain't really keeping the law. Maybe y'all got something wrong in y'all heart or something. Y'all, but the Most High ain't gonna chastise the people who's keeping the laws of God. And until we teach that, until they can see the Most High acting as as our attorney and our defender, then they're not gonna feel safe to come back to God. They're not gonna feel safe to come back to God while y'all teaching this. You got to teach the other thing, that we have the laws out here. First, we act in laws. First, we try to communicate with them. First, we got to let them see that we're keeping the Most High's laws again. And so they'll know he's fighting for us. And as he start turning them plagues and that heat up on them, they're going to realize that we do have a God behind us fighting for us, because they don't know. They will sleep. Their fathers deceived them too, the Edomites and these nations. They don't think there's no God, real God on the earth. So we are his representative. We got to give him the opportunity to show them that we are his chosen people, that he's a covenant keeping God. He's going to show them, but he need us to stand up. Didn't he need us, our ancestors, to walk through the Canaan land? Why didn't he just go in there and flatten and run those people out with whatever, giants, dinosaurs, or whatever, animals? Why didn't he just go in and run the Canaanites out of Israel when we went back to take the land? No, he wants us to walk through so they can see the people that the Most High has raised up over the earth, over them. So they can see his chosen people. So they can see us. They got to see us walking in the Most High protecting us. So they'll know. They'll get the visual aid. They'll know. So until y'all start teaching that the Most High is giving us his law and he's going to protect us to keep his law and to walk in love and take our identity back and our sovereignty back, then you teaching wrong. You're not establishing God again. You're not establishing Yahawah and His name in the earth. You're giggling and laughing and acting silly. Look what they're gonna do to us. No, y'all silly, man. You know why? Cause y'all can act white and talk white. You think you're gonna be all right. No, you ain't. Whenever you disobeying the Most High God, you in trouble just like them Edomites, man. So we got y'all come back to your sovereignty. We see the Northern Kingdom in this land standing up saying, "I'm me no black, me no Negro, me no Northern, me no Native, we ain't Native American, we ain't Afro American, we ain't African Americans. We are the original copper tone people in this land, and we ain't gonna support your businesses no more. We ain't gonna support your kingdom no more. And you have no jurisdiction over us. They're fighting. No, come on, Anthony gonna get free. He's gonna get free while y'all giggling and laughing, talking about how much power Esau got over your people. You cowards. You the same Gideon army that God sent home that didn't even know you was in the battle. Is down there licking the water up like a dog. You didn't even recognize you was in a battle. And they coming for your head just like they come for everybody else. Head. You laughing because they come for certain people's head. They come for your head too. All praises to the Most High God. That's the main thing. We got to establish our sovereignty before the nations can gather. Okay? Before they'll even look and say it's going to be safe to gather, we have to establish our sovereignty to the nations. You can't gather without sovereignty again. They won't gather without sovereignty protection. All right? All praises to the Most High.